Welcome back to the Newport Gulls pregame show. This is the Broadcasters Roundtable. I'm here with the voice of Mystic Schooners baseball, Alex Texera. And Alex, both teams, the Schooners and the Newport Gulls, after seeing each other a couple of weeks ago in the game that the Schooners took down in Mystic, these two teams have been red hot.
Yeah, they've been really good. Newport has not lost since that game in 2 weeks, and these two teams are the only teams in the NECBL who have strung together win streaks of longer than 5 games this year. Mystics ended a couple days ago, and right now they're coming off a little bit of a rough patch, if you could call it that, just having lost 1 game. But Mystic is 10-3, Newport is 9-2. It's a battle of 2 teams that are tied for first, the 2 best records in the NECBL so far, and I think it should be a fun one.
Absolutely. Offensively for the Schooners are one of the best offensive teams in the NECBL when you take everything other than batting average out of it. Batting average, the Newport Gulls lead the league in batting average, but overall, hits, runs scored, strikeouts, they have the fewest strikeouts in the league right now. They walk a lot. The Mystic Schooners are firing on all cylinders offensively, especially with the hits and extra base hits, leading the league in extra base hits.
Yeah, you hit it right on the nose, Rob. They're leading the league in on-base percentage and walks, and those extra base hits, that's how they've been driving in runs. The middle of their order with returning players like Aaron Hill and Dan Hoy, and then some newcomers, Ben Ruda comes to mind. They've really just been fantastic. But more than that, it's been their bullpen that's been really good. And, you know, besides the 9 runs that they allowed right here on opening night, they have just been spectacular, and they're looking to keep that going, running into a tough challenge in the Newport Gulls offense today.
Now, Mike Concado's already pitched against the Gulls already. I believe he lost here on opening night. That's when Concado started for Mystic. It was on opening night at Cardines Field. He is a tremendous pitcher. He's got 3 pitches that work very well. And as the weather gets warmer, especially down here in Newport and down in Mystic, it's going to be a better game for him to throw because his fastball will stick harder. The pitching staff for Mystic, a little bit shaky recently, but overall, pitching seems to be winning the games there for Mystic.
Absolutely. I mentioned the bullpen just now. Really, the only thing that you can point to as a minor flaw would be their starters haven't given them much length. On average, just about 3 2/3 from their starters over their first 13 games. So they're going to look to someone who's been here before. This is Mike Concado's 2nd year as a Schooner. They're going to look to him to kind of right that ship, pun intended, and get them back on track with a good start, giving them some good distance against, as I said, like one of the best hitting teams, if not the best, in the NECBL.
Yeah, and the best pitching team in the NECBL right now. The Newport Gulls have an ERA sub-1. It's 1.72, I believe, if I remember my notes off the top of my head. The team pitching-wise is holding batters to a 191 average, and where the Schooners have struggled recently in pitching, they're holding opponents to a 200 batting average. These two teams, and they have clashed, the Schooners and the Gulls have clashed on really good battles in 2013, 2014, and now this year, a 6-game series. Is it very important to get win in game number 3 for either of these teams right now in a 6-game series?
I think it absolutely is. You know, you never know where the season's going to go from here, and they play all the way down to the very end. I think their last game is right here on July 31st, so they are going to be locked in a brutal fight for seeding in the NECBL Southern Division. Right now we see them coming into the game tied for first place. Newport is on a really just extraordinarily hot streak. They've won 7 straight games, if I remember correctly. And so for Mystic, it's going to be a matter of putting a stop to that, getting a win and taking the edge and taking the season series lead at 2-1. And, you know, you talk about it all the time, Robin. I think it's a really good point to bring up. Winning the season series against your intra-divisional opponents is huge as far as winning games and getting a top seed going into the postseason, and that is exactly what's on the line tonight at Cardines Field.
Yeah, people look at the overall season and say, oh, well, if a team wins 23, 24, 25 games, they're going to get into the playoffs. But you can win 23, 24, 25 games and lose season series to your interdivision rivals. I mean, you can win every series in the Northern Division. Winning series in Newport, Mystic, and Ocean State realized this at the end of last year in 2014 for the 2, 3, and 4 seed in the playoffs last year, how important season series were. And I agree with you that Game 3 here in this season series is very important because you want to have that lead. You don't want to be playing from behind because whether you believe it or not, if Newport or Mystic loses tonight, they'll be down 2-1 in the season series. That means you have to win the next 2 at least because you don't want to come into the final game of the season at Cardines Field, the final end of the season, at least in Newport for the Gulls, having to win that final game. Neither team wants to do that right now. It is going to be a clash of the Titans here tonight at Cardines Field. Two of the best teams in the NECBL. It will be the Schooners and the Newport Gulls. I will be on air with Alex Texera. That is all later on tonight. But the pregame show continues here on the NECBL Broadcast Network next.